So what happened on January the 1st? Well, Sarah McIntyre, I'm only going to say that name once, I'll say her first name. The 9th of 10th children grew up in the state of Indiana. In her late teens, she was attracted to the Adventist message by a faithful woman who showed love and kindness to an unconverted husband for 20 years before he too became a Christian. Through this woman's influence, Sarah attended an Adventist tent meeting near her home. By the time she was 20, she was baptized. Since Indiana was not far from Michigan, Sarah decided to attend Battle Creek School of Missionary Nursing. Here she first met Ellen White. After James White died, Sarah was asked to join Ellen's household as her nurse and her companion. Sarah was delighted. Sarah seemed to be one of those persons who could do almost anything, cope with any situation, manage any kind of a household. She became nurse, companion, traveling guide, secretary, carpenter's helper, and household manager. In the years ahead, she would spend weeks and months helping Mrs. White prepare her books for publication and shielding him from too many visitors, board meetings, and bad weather. In 1885, Sarah, who was responsible for the luggage, had just gotten off the train one day and onto another when she stopped to count the suitcases. "Mother," she exclaimed, speaking to Mrs. White, "someone must have taken one of our suitcases off the platform when we were changing trains. What shall we do? Maybe we should get off the next station and try to find it. Then we can go on tomorrow." At that moment, their train halted on its way out of the station. Sarah spied a man from the original train waving this missing suitcase out of a window. An alert porter sprang from the train, grabbed the suitcase, and leaped back on, saving much worry, time, and an overnight stay. Together, they thanked God for helping them find the suitcase so quickly. After her trip to Europe, Ellen White left Battle Creek and moved to Healdsburg in California, near her son Willie's house. She felt she could do more writing there than at Battle Creek, where the General Conference was located. In Battle Creek, she was continually interrupted by people who wanted her advice or attendance at committee meetings. In Healdsburg, Sarah helped Ellen prepare Patriarchs and Prophets and the Great Controversy for publication. Sarah would never have left Mrs. White, but Sarah became ill and had to go to the Battle Creek Sanitarium for treatment. When she had recovered sufficiently, she started working in the sanitarium, taking care of mentally ill patients. Ellen's daughter-in-law wrote that Sarah was all for crazy people at the sanitarium. "She is just the one for that business," Emma continued. "She's just not afraid of anything." 3 years later, Sarah received a telegram from Australia that would again change the course of her life. It was from her beloved Ellen, asking if Sarah was now well enough to come to Australia and be her nurse again. Ellen had been stricken with severe arthritis, which had so often plagued her. Gladly, Sarah packed up her bags and sailed to Australia, where she resumed her companionship with her close friend. When Sarah arrived in Australia, she found much to be done. Not only did she take care of Ellen White and help her with the writing again, but since there were no doctors within 20 miles of Cooranbong, Ellen encouraged her to share her nursing skills with the poor people of the community. In the 1900s, Mrs. White, her son Willie, and his family, and Sarah all returned to California. Although Mrs. White still owned a house in Healdsburg, it was thought best that she be settled close to St. Helena Sanitarium because of her frequent bouts with poor health. So she bought a house there and named it Elmshaven. Willie and his family built a place nearby, and the grandchildren were close enough to run over and visit Grandma occasionally. Sarah soon had the household organized. The older Sarah got, the more set in her ways she became. Visitors sometimes jokingly called her Mrs. White's watchdog, for when Sarah was on duty, no one could go upstairs and disturb Mrs. White without her permission. In July of 1915, Sarah would board a train with Willie White from Elmshaven, California, to accompany Ellen White's body back to Michigan to be buried near her beloved James in Oak Hill Cemetery here in Battle Creek, Michigan. On this day, Sarah McIntyre was born January 1, 1854, near La Pointe, Indiana.